Let's talk about democracy. Because democracy is not the act of voting. A democracy is a process to make decisions. And everybody has to agree with the process to make decisions. Okay? When the states formed the Union, each state had the right to make their own decisions. That's what they got from the Declaration of Independence. They got the rights of a free and independent state to determine how their state acts as an independent state. To do what? Levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do, which is an action, all other acts and things that an independent state may by right do. Okay? And what is a law? A law is a rule of action. So what are you doing when you're making a law? You're just determining how to act. Okay? So how do you determine how to act? Right? Especially when they all the states wanted to required that they participate in making that decision. Okay? That's where democracy comes in. All right? It's a process to make collective decisions by a majority consensus of all the decision makers. Okay? And that's really it in a nutshell. All the states are assembled as equals to participate in identifying and determining choices and decisions, parameters of those decisions, every aspect of the decision. That's what they do as a quorum. And enough of the states have to be present to form a quorum to actually determine and agree to these actions, decisions. And then they vote on those decisions, and the decision has to have a majority consensus of all the states. All the states, not just the number of states that are present, because at the time they could form a quorum with 9 of 13 states. Okay? So if only 9 states showed up and the majority consensus that they needed is 9 of 13 states, then all 9 of those states have to vote in the affirmative to pass that measure, to make that decision and that choice. Because that's the requirement. Today, what is it? The quorum requirement in the House is 26 of 13 states, and they're counted as present if they have at least one representative present, no matter how many they have. Under the Articles of Confederation, they were required to have 2 to 7 representatives to be counted as present. But when they voted, each state had one vote to reach a majority consensus. So if a state only showed up with one representatives, they were not counted as present, even though they could still participate and vote when it came time to vote. But in order to make sure you have the proper number, enough states present to actually come to an agreement on these decisions, on what decision to make, you have to have at least a quorum. Now, for the Senate, that's still true today. There have to be 26 states with at least both of their senators present to be counted as present towards the quorum. So they can still vote when it comes time to vote. And there's two different situations there where they try to compel the states to make sure they always had both of their senators present so that they could not be denied their equal suffrage. Because each state has one vote, but it's split between two senators to provide continuity and stability of government through term lengths and offset elections for replacements for their senators. But the state always has total control over their senators. If the state doesn't like their senator, they have the right to remove that senator and put somebody else in there that they want. Just because you won an election doesn't guarantee you nothing as a senator. Because you represent the people of your state and you are directed by the people of your state, which are assembled as an exact representation of the people of your state in the most numerous legislative branch. The senators do not have any authority to make any decisions whatsoever. The state has suffrage. Voting is just a tool to reach a majority consensus. To know when you reach the majority consensus, it's a requirement that each state gets one vote and a majority of the states is necessary to the choice. Okay? That's where the vote is. That's the only real vote. So there are only two purposes for voting. Either you vote to in a legislative assembly, or you vote to assemble a legislative assembly. And the requirement for assembling the most numerous legislative branch is that it must be an exact representation of all the people of the state. All. Not party, doesn't matter. It's an exact demographic representation. Why? So that the people can participate as equals in the legislative assembly with equal suffrage to reach a majority consensus. This is the requirement for all democratic governing systems. And all Republican governing systems are democratic governing systems. Okay? Democracy is about agreement. How do you get all of them to agree to something? Well, you have to have a process that they agree with to reach that agreement. Thanks.